It happened soon after this that the mother sent her children to town to buy thread, needles, ribbons, and lace. The road led over a heath where great rocks lay scattered about. As they trudged along, their attention was soon drawn to a huge bird that hovered about above them. It circled nearer and nearer the earth, till at last it dashed suddenly down upon a mass of rocks. At once they heard a sharp, piercing cry, and running to the spot, they saw, to their horror, that the eagle had pounced upon their old acquaintance, the dwarf, and was about to carry him off. The tender-hearted children did not for a moment hesitate. Taking firm hold of the little man, they struggled stoutly to free him from the eagle, and after much rough handling on both sides, the dwarf remained at last safe in the hands of his courageous little friends, while the great bird flew away. But for all that, did the little old man say thank you? No, never a bit of it. When he had in a degree recovered from the shock, he cried in his thin, cracked voice, "Couldn't you have handled me more gently? Look at my little coat. It's all torn to shreds, you useless, awkward hussies." He then seized a sack of precious stones and vanished under the rocks. The girls were by this time quite accustomed to his thankless manner, so they went on their way and did their errands in town. On their way home, as they were again passing the heath, they once more came unexpectedly upon the ugly dwarf. He had emptied out his sack of precious gems and was counting them over, for he had never thought anyone would be crossing the heath so late. The setting sun shone on the brilliant stones, and they gleamed and glittered so beautifully that the children stood still to admire them. The face of the dwarf grew scarlet with rage as he saw them. "Greenhorns, what are you standing there gaping at?" he cried, and was about to make off to his cave when a loud growl suddenly stopped him. Out of the woods came a great black bear. The dwarf, in a fright, once more tried to escape in his hiding place, but the bear was right upon him. Then the little man cried out in terror, "Dear Mr. Bear, I beg you spare me. I'll give you all my treasure. Only look at these beautiful gems. What pleasure would you get from gobbling up such a little fellow as I? You wouldn't even get a taste of me. But look at these two wicked girls. There, lay hold of them. They would be tender morsels and are as fat as quails. Pray take them, good Mr. Bear, and let me go." The bear, however, was not to be moved by his words. He gave the evil little creature one blow with his paw, and that was the end of him once and for all. In the meantime, the girls had run away towards home, but the bear called after them, saying, "Snow White, Rose Red, stop! Don't be afraid, I will go with you." Then they recognized his voice and stood still, and when the bear had come near him, the bearskin suddenly fell to the ground, and there stood before them a handsome young man dressed in gold. "I am a king's son," said he, "but was doomed by that wicked dwarf who stole my treasure to run about the woods in the form of a bear until I should be set free by his death. Now he has got his well-earned punishment." Snow White married the prince, and Rose Red his brother, and they've divided between them the great treasure which the dwarf had collected in his cave. The good mother lived for many years peacefully with her children, but when she left her cottage she carried with her the 2 rose trees, and they stood before her window and continued every year to bear the most beautiful red and white roses.